Greetings in the Lord. I would not recommend Christ-like behavior to anyone. I'd recommend Jesus-like behavior, to be sure. Let me explain. When people hear that term Christ-like behavior, a lot of times they tend to think that means that they have to be perfect. They have to be beyond flaw, sometimes even beyond feeling. But the fact of the matter is, we are made by God as human beings. And if we ever try to deny that, then we fall flat on ourselves and we end up hating ourselves, which is even worse. In trying to figure out how to live as human beings, I think we should take a look at Jesus. There was someone who loved his human nature. He was not embarrassed to cry at the death of his friend Lazarus. He had feelings of anger towards the Pharisees. He lost his temper with the money changers. On the cross, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" It's tough enough trying to be a decent human being without trying to be godlike. But we have these illusions about ourselves. We think that we have to be self-sacrificing and pure and saintly and all-loving, the eternal nice guy. And when we try to live with that agenda, we often end up feeling alienated from ourselves. Is it any wonder that people drink? Is it any wonder that people get depressed? Other illusions we have about ourselves are, it is necessary to be loved by everyone. Who says? Or one should always get upset about other people's problems. Does that help? Or one should be competent in all ways to be considered a worthwhile human being. Or happiness is something that is externally caused. The spiritual life has as its goal the stripping away of all of these illusions about ourselves that in many ways boil down to one thing, and that is the sin of pride. God made us not as angels, but as human beings. A number of years ago, I wrote a column on perfectionism, and I got the most mail from that column than any other thing I've ever written. Apparently, a lot of us try to be perfect. Well, the good news of the gospel is that we are loved in our humanity exactly as we are.